Now, this is a story rather insane about a wrestling promotion by the authors of pain, and I'd like to take a minute to talk about the misdemeanor and the show they tried to book at the Motor Point Arena. It's been a rough week for the people behind Wrestling Entertainment Series, or WES, or WES. As we've seen, plans for a major UK wrestling event have very much crashed and burned. You and I are going to take a deep dive into the short, rocky road of these ambitious armbar adventures, from inception to seemingly incineration. Caught us all a bit off guard back in May, didn't it? This was something that was, for former WWE stars Akam and Razor, Sonny and Gizem, had been pondering for about a year. The former authors of pain broke their silence following their releases from WWE with something nobody had on their bingo card: plans for a brand new wrestling company. Now, early indicators from places like Fightful Select suggested that the ex-AOP had approached fellow Future Endeavored friends about working a show for them in Dubai. Before this, Sonny and Gizem had launched Bull Ape Planet, an NFT project with backing from wrestlers and football players. I think this, along with a few like-minded, well-pocketed people and friends willing to help out, would make this wrestling pipe dream very much a reality. Now, as well as a selection of former Raw and SmackDown talent, the show will also feature the return of the authors and pay themselves, complete with Paul Ellering as a manager. Now, let's not forget, right, in all of this, AOP, at the height of their powers in NXT, were a really good combo. It was like somebody had atom split Brock Lesnar and dropped them in one of the best tag divisions ever. They fizzled out on the main roster and pizzled out at one point with Drake Maverick. Sorry about that, Bab. But regardless, there was an intrigue in seeing AOP back together, along with some underloved and underutilized former E-Machine parts. The tentative talk became tantamount to tangible when the former Razor filed trademarks with USPTO for Wrestling Entertainment Series and the WES logo, with hopes it would lead to a fully fledged TV deal and the promotion getting off and running. They'd be announcing a show at the Dubai World Trade Center in June. That was the initial plan, but something changed that. On May the 13th, UAE President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed passed away at the age of 73. The Ministry of Presidential Affairs declared 40 days of mourning, and out of respect, they cancelled their plans in Dubai. The decision was made before any more organisations could be done, so they decided to relocate the show wholesale. They frantically searched for somewhere to put the show. And out of 80 or so potential venues, it was the Nottingham Motor Point Arena that reached back first. WWE runs the Motor Point for live events, so they've got previous with putting on the graps. Plus, Nottingham is in the Midlands, which isn't a bad shout for a location in this green and pleasant land. It's equidistant from anywhere. You see, I'm in Newcastle. I've got a friend in Morecambe and another in Cornwall. We all agreed to go day drinking in the East Midlands because it was an equally awful chew-on of a journey for all of us. So it's fair. On May the 13th, the Authors of Pain authored a press release announcing that Wrestling Entertainment Series would hit the ground running on Saturday, June the 4th in Nottingham, with a card that left everybody in different states of shock. See, as well as in-ring returns for the newly christened Legion of Pain, sans Paul Ellering, we had Impact stars like The Influence, Diana Perazzo and Chelsea Green. We had ex-Fed guys like Mojo Rawley, Kalisto, Killer Cross, Fandango, Nia Jax, Lana and more. Jonathan Coachman and Matt Rewalt were going to do commentary, for goodness sake. Oh, Lana and Nia Jax were going to pick up their table-smashing malarkey that they left WWE on in a contest for the Women's Championship. Of course, the main event, you will remember, Titan Adam Scherr facing MMA fighter Alistair Overeem. Overeem's decision to swap UFC octagons for the squared circle caught a lot of attention, mainly because when he was on the MMA Hour, he spoke so glowingly about wrestling. Oh my God, this stuff is lame. It's just lame. What are they doing? It's fake. It's lame. It's not even a sport. It's just lame. It's bad acting. It's just lame. This one-two touch punch combo got shared around quite a bit, but in interviews since, he says he quite likes wrestling now. Glowing from Overeem. The fake, lame, stupid wrestling show was going to take the world by storm on June the 4th, live from the Motor Point Arena in Nottingham and streamed on Fight TV. That's a big task. This is a 10,000-seater venue, and WWE don't always manage to sell it out, and they're the biggest game in town. It became apparent in the weeks leading up to the show, the only real marketing they were doing, WES, was match graphics on Twitter. There was some speculation that the show was underselling, which was ridiculous. It's a loaded card of near-current WWE talent in the UK for the first time ever on their own. I mean, What could have possibly been happening on that first weekend in June in the UK that would prevent people from coming to watch the wrestling? There is no good reason why in the first weekend of June you wouldn't want to come and watch the wrestling. Except, oh yeah, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Queenie was celebrating a Roman Reigns-esque streak as the country's top star. So we'd all be given 4 days off to have street parties, go to parades, watch live concerts, all that pomp and circumstance. Plus a handful of established UK indie shows had already had events booked and in place and had been sold out for months. The matches at the Motor Point were becoming a moot point. But it all still seemed like it was going ahead. That was until Chelsea Green logged onto Twitter one day and saw a tweet from Fight encouraging people to buy WES's first pay-per-view event and watch it live that weekend. A 3-word reply from the hot mess caused a shower of schadenfreude from across social media. Actually, it's cancelled. It would take 12 hours for WES to put out an official statement confirming that their event that weekend was indeed not going ahead, and they were shooting for a new date, July the 9th, just over a month later. They apologised for the inconvenience, but didn't really explain why it had been cancelled. However, they made a concerted effort to really get the marketing right for the show. We saw AOP on BBC Breakfast putting Dan Walker through a table. Mojo Rawley went on Capital Midlands Drive Time with Tom and Claire to get them hyped. Lina Fanene opened a branch of HMV on Nottingham High Street dressed as a sheriff. They became part of the fabric of the region, and tickets just couldn't be printed fast enough. Except none of that happened. They just kept sharing match graphics on Twitter. A few new faces this time, though. See, some British talent had started popping up to replace some of the American stars that couldn't make the new date. Alistair Overeem was still up for this fake, lame, stupid wrestling night, but his opponent was no longer Braun Strowman. He'd been replaced by Impact star Moose. It seemed like, on the whole, this card was a little more pared back than the heavy-set roster we had before. It's not a bad thing at all, to be honest with you. We still had Lina Fanene and CJ Perry on the card. In fact, Lina, front and centre of a lot of the posters. Most things I saw for WES featured Nia Jax. Slight problem. Nia Jax isn't coming. The former Nia Jax took to Twitter and announced such a thing, saying, "I do not know why I am still on this poster, but I will repeat myself again. I will not be at the show. Please do not buy a ticket thinking you will see me perform or get a chance to meet me. I hate that this misleads people." WES responded by continuing to encourage people to buy tickets for the chance to meet the stars of the show before the bell, with Lina Fanene still front and centre on the poster. Lina's perplexed poster posturing was the smallest of WES's PR bonfires that they were failing to put out. This follows Matt Rehwoldt announcing that he'd been approached with no travel and no accommodation arrangements, nor any overtures for payment, having been ghosted by the promotion organisers weeks before, despite blocking out time to do the event. And this led to many start questioning if the event was going to go ahead at all. Many of the stars booked for the show that we at Cultaholic and Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful Select reached out to with days before the event were very much in the dark too. Some had been paid a deposit, some had been paid in full, some hadn't been paid at all. Quite a lot of the UK talent hadn't been paid. Some were waiting on logistics, flights, accommodation, etc. And this was like the Monday before the show on the Friday. With all of these questions being asked, with an extra month tacked on to give them time to promote their big debut show, it was revealed by Daily Star's Adam Callier that the event had sold less than 350 tickets in the 10,000-seat Motor Point Arena. WES's Twitter fired back to this by encouraging people to buy the show on Fight and, as an addendum in a reply to their own tweet, said that Lina Fanene versus CJ Perry was off the card due to certain reasons. Glad we finally put that fire out. The hammer finally fell on WES with a statement from the company that basically put the blame on their second cancellation at the foot of the talent. We are deeply disappointed in the news that we have to share, but with so many talent not showing up, we will have no choice than to cancel the event. Our team worked so hard on this event day in and day out for the fans to come with a different type of wrestling event and believe that we still will be able to show that event in the near future. We do want to say that all our talent that was scheduled cancelled have been paid in full, and that Lena Fanene was paid her deposit as well while she changed her mind and did not want to show up and wrestle anymore. For now, we will have to apologise for this, but we promise that it'll not end here. See you soon. For many of the talent, they found out that the show they were booked on that weekend was cancelled when they saw that tweet. The same time as us. The backlash from wrestlers across the world was strong. Matt Rehwoldt, who had already aired his grievances, simply tweeting, "Talent not showing up, what a laugh." Adam Scherr, who was scheduled to compete against Alistair Overeem in the first show back in June, tweeted Sean Ross Sapp directly saying, "Straight garbage to try and blame talent for not showing up. I'm not a stooge, but the truth will come out. You all are good at finding it." Josh Alexander, who wasn't booked on the show, the Impact Wrestling champion, tweeted WES saying, "Be better. If you love wrestling, just leave it to the pros. Or actually, do what you say you're going to do. Wrestlers no showing ain't ever going to be a thing. Maybe one or two, but not enough to warrant cancelling a show. We love this." Chelsea Green, who had got the first show announced as cancelled through her message to Fight, tweeted, "Instead of blaming the talent who took weeks off to come to work for your new company, under the impression you could be trusted, try refunding the fans and apologising for your lack of organisation." Mojo Rawley, Dean Mutardi, proved to be a class act in all of this, with a statement that followed the announcement of the event being cancelled, saying, "I was very excited to step back in the ring and hyped to battle with Big Damo. I really feel for all the fans who had interest in the talent on this show. And to anyone that bought a ticket, I'll be doing a free meet and greet so we can all have a great time regardless and stay hyped." Class act from Mojo Rawley. And there's a few other people that have come out since then and cried at some of the stuff that's gone on in the last two attempts to start up WES. Fightful Select, who have been reaching out to talent beyond WES, have really painted the picture that we might not see this company again. In the sense that so many have said that after seeing what they've seen and seeing the fact that they blamed the talent for the show not happening, they won't want to work with them again. Now, in terms of correspondence for press, because I think the big part of this was a lack of marketing, I can vouch that we had correspondence from WES here at Cultaholic. We had an email containing the press release that had been posted, and then an email announcing the postponement. And that was all we had. Nothing else. We just looked on Twitter for the rest of things. So that draws a line under Wrestling Entertainment Series and their attempts to become the new sheriffs of Nottingham. There'll no doubt be more chapters written by the authors of Pain when it comes to promoting, because they genuinely seem like they have a passion to do it. And I'm hoping for them that the next book they write has a slightly better ending. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.